Okay, guys, welcome back. This is 4.3 different types of debt. So this is going to be your guide to improving your credit and growing your credit. So this one is actually going to be slower, not slower, but shorter than a lot of my other videos. This one is, it's actually pretty straightforward, so I hope you guys enjoy it. But this is what we're going to be getting into in this particular tutorial. What are the different types of debt? So one of the things that I'm going to ask you guys is tell me what the difference between a mortgage, home equity line of credit, and reverse mortgage. Think about it for a second. But before we start, disclaimer. The financial information contained in this video is for informational purposes only and not for the purpose of providing specific financial advice. You should contact a financial advisor to obtain specific financial advice. All right, guys, and this is exactly where we are. That is 4.3 different types of debt. So now let's actually set the stage for what we're going to be talking about in this video. So this is going to be debt management, the foundational elements of managing debt. So if you guys remember the debt management overview, I described debt management as the analysis, implementation, and monitoring of all plans to eliminate, settle, or make current prior financial obligations. So here's a bit of terminology for you guys as far as debt management is concerned. So the very first one is a financial obligation. So if you guys know, a financial obligation is just a promise between two parties. It doesn't necessarily have to be a debt promise, like something like a pension. That's also a financial obligation. And debt is a form of financial obligation, but there's different types. So if you guys remember the overview, I told you guys debt restructuring is settling a debt under different terms than initially agreed. You guys know what payments are. If you guys don't know what a debt service is the minimum amount due to keep a credit account current. So if you guys have a $25 credit card payment every month, then your debt service for that credit card is $25. So interest, that's a premium on it's kind of like a payment for using whatever loan you were using. Credit limit, that's the maximum amount that you're able to use for a debt. Credit utilization is what you've been using, and we have a couple different other terms here. A lot of them will be answered in the next few videos, so I don't want to get in them here. I just want to stick to what we were originally here for. So now I got a simple question for you guys. What's a loan? So this is the way I'm going to describe a loan to you guys. A loan is a financial obligation, between two or more parties to exchange monies for a specific reason with a guaranteed return of the monies with a premium. The premium is interest. So now, if you guys remember, I started off the video asking you guys, what is the difference between a mortgage, home equity line of credit, and a reverse mortgage? So you guys might know there's a difference, but if I asked you to explain to me what those differences were, could you do it? If you're not feeling confident about it, don't worry. This next part should help. So when we're talking about loans, we're talking about different loan features. So one of the features with a loan is it accrues interest. So if it's a 0% loan, then essentially what happens is it accrues 0%. It accrues no interest. The next one is going to be the evaluation amount. So this is going to be the amount that is dedicated to the loan. It could be a value or it could be a limit depending on what kind of loan it is. And we also have the minimum payment due on the reoccurring basis. So that's a fancy way of saying debt service. And you guys probably know that debt service is a fancy way of saying the minimum due. Okay, the next one is there is criteria by the lender for what they expect from the borrower. And the last part is the terms of repayment. So let's go into two major categories for loans. One is installment and the other one is revolving. So when we're talking about installment, this has a definitive value, it has an end date, and it generally decreases over time. Meaning if you pay it off, then it should steadily decline over time. So the best example that I could have for you guys would be like a car loan. Now, as far as a revolving loan has a maximum value. So if you guys remember back when I was talking about the evaluation amount for a revolving loan is going to be a maximum limit. Now, there's no clear end date. It's just you use as needed, and it generally fluctuates over time. Now, when I say fluctuate over time, I don't mean if you're using it as supplemental income and you have a balance at the end of the month. What I more or less mean is you use it, it goes up, then you pay it off and it goes down. So a really good example of that would be a credit card. So let's go into segmenting different types of credit and different types of debt. So what I want you guys to do here is I want you guys to first understand what are the similarities between a mortgage, home equity line of credit, and a reverse mortgage. So if you guys know some of the similarities, one of them is the fact that you're using it for housing. The next one is going to be that they do require specific requirements by the lender. And the last one is they require an appraisal for the evaluation amount. Now, this is the difference between each one of the threes. So you guys should go ahead and impress your friends with it. I don't know if you could impress your friends with this, but it'd be pretty interesting to see you guys try. So the first one is going to be a mortgage. So in a mortgage, the evaluation amount is going to it's going to be an installment loan, so it's going to have an evaluation amount of a set value. Okay, it's going to accrue interest. There is a debt service on it, and there's a definitive end of the contract. Typically, the term mortgage it refers to the death of the contract, which is essentially how it works. Now, the next one is going to be home equity line of credit. So that one is going to be a revolving loan, and that one's going to have a limit similar to a credit card, and it's going to accrue interest, and there is going to be a debt service. One of the major things about this is it does require a home. But the next one is going to be a reverse mortgage. So a reverse mortgage, typically it has an evaluation amount, and you can choose to either receive it in a lump sum or monthly payments. But I'm going to stay away from that as far as the differences between that and the other two. The next one is I'm saying that it's accruing zero interest. That's not always the case. Sometimes there is interest, but there's going to be cases out there where it doesn't accrue any interest, and that's if you take it out in a lump sum. The next one is no debt service. When I say no debt service, that typically means that you pay it back after whoever had the reverse mortgage dies, and the last of kin or next of kin have to pay it up all in one sum by either selling the house or doing a purchase on the house. The next one is going to be terms. So with the other two, it doesn't really age doesn't come into play. But when it comes to reverse mortgage, you have to be a specific age in order to take one out. And the last one is going to be that it requires a home. So if you guys remember what I said back with the home equity line of credit, that requires a home. With every one of these except for the mortgage, each one of these requires that you already have a home in place, that the home is in your name in order to get one of the two other mortgages. But one of the two other loans. But when it comes to a mortgage, you don't necessarily have to own a home beforehand in order to get a mortgage. And that's essentially the differences between a mortgage, home equity line of credit, and a reverse mortgage. Okay, guys, so what we're going to do now is we're going to move on into something else that's slightly different, but it's you guys will understand. So, what's the difference between a personal loan of $1,000 and a credit card with $1,000 limit? So, guys, remember the similarities that we did before. The specific use is going to be for personal use, and they're both going to accrue interest, and they both have a debt service. Now, getting into the difference, remember that a personal loan is an installment loan, and a credit card is a revolving loan. So, remember what that means. The evaluation amount is going to be a value for the personal loan with a clear end date, and it's going to steadily decline over time. Now, with the credit card, it's going to be a limit, and there's going to be no clear end date, and it's going to fluctuate over time. And that's pretty much it when it comes to understanding different types of debt. It really comes down to those three things. So if you guys want to take this simple model and then tell me where it breaks down. So I want you guys to take any two loans that you guys can come across, and I want you guys to use this and tell me if this simple model will work for it. So put down in the comments if you guys see that it does work for every single one. Then hooray! I actually came up with a really cool model that makes me feel good about myself. If not, I'll see where it breaks down, and then I'll revise and then come up with something that works a little more beneficially. So just as a recap for you guys, remember the first step is to identify the specific use. What is this loan used for? The second step is going to be identifying the features. So this could be lender requirements, the evaluation amount, it could be the interest, the debt service, or it could be the terms of repayment. Once you have that, then we're going to move over into categories. So if it is an installment loan, or is it a revolving loan, or could it potentially be a different category that I didn't bring up here. So I want to thank you guys. Once again, this was a really short video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. What I want you guys to do in the comments, tell me where this breaks down. Put 2 or 3 different types of loan and tell me if it still works. The next thing I want you guys to do, if you guys like this video, hit the thumbs up. And if you want more personal finance tutorials similar to this one, I want you guys to subscribe. I have an initial sorry about that, guys, but I have an initial goal of getting 1,000 subscribers, and everything that you guys can do to help me get there is deeply appreciated. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.